Yeah,
Yo!
Mr. Chirisa, gira say.
Aho your ness.
Mine,
Oh, good, my broski. What are you saying over that side?
Easy, mdara. Tadzoga pa bridge.
Back on the bridge. Chepa mepo, chepa nepenyuro.
It's been a weird week. It's been a weird week.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Publish Bambari tricky ku tandra this weekend.
You couldn't hang around Bagorunga too hard.
What is
Because my congregation
relax. What kwenzakalani?
Where's your energy? This looks like what is this? Yes, is this mobilizing?
Matungwanani. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It's another episode of your favorite podcast, Boys About Bridge, the one and only Black and Forth podcast.
47. Mangwana, 47 mdara.
Vakomana vari kufamba la
Timba.
tichifamba nacho ngoti kwacho. Big shout out to vakatiwanira mbishana yemakofi. Afro came through. Anzi 5 maplates esadza. Keep up the good work, gentlemen. Tinoti. Shout out to you. Then Anashe came through in a plate esadza. Anzi dangoyane one boys. Munoweta mates.
Tinotimba. We grew up like that.
Anzi ndanyanya kukwata ndisina kuisa contribution, but it's the self-awareness for me.
See, I love that recognition. Homegirl introspected. No, it's giving hunu.
It's giving hunu.
You know, pick up yourself. Yeah, man. We love you. Two. It's fine. Which I don't know. I would have expected a bit more considering Tabawanu 4 for 4. It was 4 for 4, bro.
Every week, people were fed.
Every week, it culminated on it and two my plates.
I genuinely think there's people who watch the podcast and hear all the people that will be shouting out, we got these coffees, and they're like,
they're nice.
Big shout out to everybody that's also been smashing the like button. See you, Musaneta, please, because that's how the podcast gets recommended to other people, to new people.
Yep.
Big shout out to you, but
big up yourselves for the engagement on the last one. Great stuff. We loved it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
No.
They made no mistake with this. The conversation.
I am a gun fingers. Misread. Where are you?
Yeah. Pew.
Because Misread was one of those people that were front and center trying to introduce a new pronunciation.
Ayewa.
Masharons. We are the Rose of Sharon.
Silent that's it. Old dogs, new tricks as to run. Takura.
Please. We're too old,
man.
Might have a lot of water. Hansi, how can our kids eat crust when we ourselves are not eating crust? Which I found to be like,
could there be something in there?
Maybe they have a point.
They're right, but I mean, speculations and mafuta like they used to. What they were saying. No, but it was such a shared experience. I didn't realize it
and even
like biting around it.
Eat one now. There was a lot of people. They were like, I promise you, bro.
I felt so vindicated. I was like, yes.
Come across Ndakatoma Google it while we were doing the episode. I was like, I've never.
Brother, I started questioning myself. Am I bugging? Am I?
Then again,
am I
bugging? So you know, I don't think
Kandoro nomboda kuita mapoverty Olympics tsingongo ndakakuonayo. Ndakakuona unaka super downplaying kanomboda kuita I'm just a young man. But I'm poor sitch. I'm poor sitch ass nigga.
Let me tell you something. I remember reading in Poor Search and getting so frustrated. Why would the book end now? When he just got good. Like, why would the book end now? I was so frustrated. I was so young. I didn't understand the concept of books and them having to end. Or I think I was like 9, 10 when I read Poor Search. Because I was staying with cousins that were reading it as a set book. Right? I remember reading it and I was so frustrated. Like, why would the book end now?
When my boy is up.
My boy is up. Why would the book end now? Let's see, guys.
No, because for real, because you can't string me along this fucking heartache nangrikini, bro. Like you're absolutely right.
This man just found his father. South Africa is, because I think the book ends just as they go to vote. Because at the time I know nothing about South Africa, right? What happened?
What happened, bro?
What did the Zek is happening? I remember being so frustrated, bro. Like what's happening? But yeah, man, I also learned last episode how big of a dancer nation Zimbabwe is.
Yeah, massive. Hey, you lot love Mangoma hard. Yo, incredible. And people weren't just suggesting 2 or 3 rhythms, brother. Like I saw lists up to 12.
Anger management rhythm, buyout rhythm,
sail away, buyout,
sail away rhythm, like
sunscreen, chi.
It seems
buyout and sail away seem to have taken the
military touch was also featuring there. I mean, Diwali wasn't being included because we had included it. Yeah, but there were some rhythms that were featuring. Then there were also just people who would ramble off just to show you, no, ndomaziwa mangoma.
Yeah, my rhythm.
Akamuruka zivera.
For the first time this year, Waterworld comes alive. It's in the pool 2004 with Simon Entertainment. Admission $20,000 before 2 p.m. If you can't afford, don't embarrass yourself. All ladies guaranteed free entry before 1 p.m. It's all happening on Saturday, 28th August from 12 noon till 6 in the morning. A massive DJ lineup, fireworks display, and an exclusive fashion launch by Dogman. In the pool 2004 at Waterworld with Simon Entertainment. Be there.
Let me tell you, as a child, the pressure this advert used to give
me.
I used to feel like I
am so on the outside. I can't even get a look in. Brother, the man says in the video, if you can't afford it, don't embarrass yourself. $20,000 ladies before 1 p.m.
20,000 kupinda mbawa. Did you notice Rocky?
Rocky alongside Man Gringo.
For the first time this year, Waterworld comes alive. It's in the pool 2004 with Simon Entertainment. Admission $20,000.
I think Vangavari Eben Grooves, because that's Terrai, Rocky, obviously Gringo, but I think Pamune other Eben Groove.
$20,000 before 2 p.m. If you can't afford, don't embarrass yourself.
Vangavari 5,000.
If you can't afford it, don't embarrass yourself. Steady. No, okay, but before anything else, please, my good sisters, my good brothers, if you recognize yourself in this video,
or your cousins, or your sister,
or your cousin, please come forth. Please, I just wanna
before we use AI to identify.
Before to sensor facial recognition.
Before tasabvita kuti titsvagirewo hama dzedu dzakashayikwa kuWaterworld.
Tine missing persons. Database.
Last scene kuWaterworld akapfeka vela.
Akapfeka summer shirt. Yanga in a dragon. But listen, please come forth. I never went. Did you ever go to one of these?
I was too young, bro.
I never went.
I was too young, bro. I was too young. I have something else. This week,
This week, pane in the global sphere and things of whatnot.
Yeah. True, but it was a heavy week, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Things were happening.
Things were happening, man.
The week was weaking.
We are recording this on the
clocks moved.
Clocks moved. That was good. But
that's a good sign. That was a good sign.
Messed up my sleep routine though. He was waking up at like 3 a.m. and be like, "Yo, what's
big man? What's up?"
We're recording this on the 2nd of April, which is my father's birthday. I believe he is 57.
Oh, get out! It was my mother's birthday yesterday, 1st of April.
Happy birthday, happy birthday,
happy birthday, Mozart. Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. So if you're not in the know, this past week it was a big week in Zim because lead up to all these protests that had been, highly publicized, a lot had been said about them, a lot of anticipation, and there were a lot of different interpretations of what had actually happened. Everyone wanted to claim a win, which was the most interesting thing. After Blessed Geza said this was highly successful. The government.
Oh, were those his remarks?
Yeah. He came out and said, "Thank you guys so much for protesting against," which was like, hey, big man, that's not what you called for.
I don't know, man.
Hey, big man. But I guess this is politics. Politics is all about presentation and packaging. On the other hand, the government was very adamant on this. It was business as usual. It was business as usual, which again, it's kind of like, big man, that's not true. I don't know if it's business as usual if you're saying to people, okay, Sakamangwana, let's go back to normal. So how was it business as usual?
So, because if it was, there wouldn't be any need to go back to normalcy because they've been...
Do you know the irony? You remember last week, I think we spoke about how the government was chasing out vendors out of the CBD.
Uh-huh.
To show that it was business as usual, government, the ZBC, ZTN were interviewing vendors in the CBD. I don't know my vendors. I was like,
vendors are really.
It's like, there is a... It's a little... I don't know.
I don't know, man.
If you had been successful in chasing them out, you wouldn't have somebody to interview right now.
But I think Kangoroka, but let's go hustle and flow. You're gonna go with it. You go with the flow.
Yeah.
You go with the flow.
I think honestly, it was, if I was to do a proper versus, it was a draw. This is one of those situations where, because no one seems to have got what they wanted explicit. Blessed Geza called for mass demonstrations. And the results that we ended up having was a mass stay away. People chose to stay at home.
So there was a mass reaction to things.
Then on the other hand, the government had been saying things are going to be normal. The situation in the country is safe. So please go about your business. As you know, these calls are going to be ignored, blah, 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 blah. So the government also didn't get what they wanted, which was a show of normalcy. So to me, in my very, I don't know, what is the word?
You're a pessimist, you.
No, when it comes to politics and politicians, I'm very much a pessimist. But I'm not looking for that is my layman interpretation of what happened.
Okay.
Maybe there's people that have more information, which is the thing that I ended up seeing now, bro. The thing that worried me the most was the amount of people that were coming out and saying, "Oh, indine latest. Chris Mchangwa has just got on a plane with his family to Dubai." Turned out Chris Mchangwa was very local. It was very much Baden. Geza, the president has sent my emissaries to Geza to ask for Chakadaro, and Geza said, "No, this is for the people." I'm like, brother. There were just all these, and the rampant misinfo. Even Goebbels would have been like,
"Hey, guys, we can't wrangle this all in." Well, again, like I said, when it's really hot in the lala, it's really hot in the lala. These things, there's no need for speculation. Because think about it. Look back to 2017. How much speculation and mahunga and these, that, and the other were going on in the build up to that. If you actually think of it, well, if my memory serves me well, from where I was, it seemed like Chinjakato Zongoitika when it was right there on the doorstep. Like, so I don't know. But so I feel like when them big serious thing moves are actually brewing and are about to pop off, I think they happen chinyararire.
Best believe even in 2017 there were people that were speculating, right? But I think definitely the number of people that are speculating now is more, because what people saw was in 2017, Paka Create was sort of like a legitimacy of who had the inside knowledge. And a lot of people feel like this is the second bite of the cherry, right? They don't want to be left by the gravy train. They could look out for them, because a lot of people made their journalism careers in 2017. This is what's happening. They were weeding through the chaff. A lot of people walked out with book deals. Vakanyora to my book of what actually happened, which is what I find speculation very dangerous, bro. Because imagine if people end up making decisions based off the information that you say. Tanzwana Kandoro, whom we trust, because Anotisekesa and all these looks like, and Kandoro says, no, Geza Ati, freedom is tomorrow. Bro, there were people that were saying freedom is coming tomorrow. There's people that had videos that said March 31 is the day that Idi Mnangagwa leaves office, which I found very, very irresponsible. There were people that were doing these analysis saying, Israel, so this is what's happening, like speaking matter of factly.
Nah.
Which is very worrying, because one, from a self-preservation standpoint, it's a very dangerous thing, because if there is something that I know can get somebody in trouble in Zimbabwe with the powers that be, is I remember bumping into a guy. Who, it wasn't a bump. I was introduced to this guy who works in the president's office, and the people that I was with would, were trying to talk. Kandoro is the comedian. What? And this guy was like, okay. Oh, all right, a comment. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and this guy is like the permanent secretary in the president's office, so he's like high up there. He's like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Okay.
Where do you do your comedy? I don't know, here, there, everywhere. And the conversation moved to something else, right, for like a minute or two, and then he came back to me. He's like, he looked at me and said, "Your family is in the UK, and it." This was last year. I think we had just sold out Reps Theatre 3 times. It's like, and obviously he said it, and everyone laughed, right? Because it had a dramatic effect, and but in the second song, because what he wanted communicated had been communicated. He then went on a step further. Like, no, I'm familiar with your work, Mpana. And Papa, it was right to traga venue. No, I came across your joke and I just said to boys, can you give me some information on this young man? And but the most interesting thing that he said in that interaction was, we don't care about what you say, but my jokes, we don't care. Even the president, my jokes, where we have a problem is when you start walking around as if Murugutara are facts. When you start walking around saying, just say your jokes. Don't be walking around saying that's where the
say your jokes and go, bro.
Say your jokes. Don't say
your jokes and go, bro.
And I had always been mindful, but then I got confirmation, Kuti. That's when I got confirmation, right? Kuti, bro, imagine if you start walking around and saying, no, that guy is gone. It's gone. Like that's where they're like, what to one.
Where did you get this? What's your source? For you to speak with such conviction, you must know something that we don't.
I've never been interested in being the guy that brings anyone breaking news or the analysis to analyze or I have inside information. I like speaking about things that everyone knows have happened.
Of course. Commentary.
Very, very clear. If anything,
comment. Or commentator bora. Zvakafanira commentator bora Mesa akakika bora rakarwa crossbar. Tesita zvona tarwa crossbar. But nichangokutsedzva he's right to the crossbar.
Ndikazouya manje ndakuti no Messi uri kuona akazopoza penalty here because iye nemukadzi wake vangu vatobva mukunetsana.
Zvachinetsana. Unoona.
Even Messi would be like
Mdara. Mesa angakagumbuka because vanga vakati zvona havasida kuextenda contract rake saka akanyatsotarisa gobhora rerabva zvina amai arigandise paoverbar.
I say that it's a very precarious time in our country, and I don't think people should go out of their way to cause trouble for themselves, because we very well know that the people that we're dealing with are people who really don't care about many things. I mean, Blessed Mhlanga has been in jail for 38 days now. While all this is happening, that man has been repeatedly been denied jail. The guy watching waka record my video and publish videos is somewhere enjoying the protection of people unknown. But here his fault was for publishing a piece of news. So it's not even good. Sometimes unengori right, unengori wrong, but it's just past 2 weeks we haven't had propaganda because I didn't want to put myself in that position where I have pressure to try and make it seem like I know something that the people don't. And I was just like,
understood.
We will let whatever is meant to happen. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. If it happens, it happens. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But this was regular good mass. I foresee.
In my predictions, I'm going
to turn into Mr. Chirisa. Vachita download my Facebook evanu kuti
psychic. I see an animal.
I'm seeing Blessed Geza with a 6-pack. Akambotamba cricket. Blessed Geza wants you to move in to the State House.
I can see. I see a big white house. I see. It's close. It's close to the crickets. cricket field. I see a cricket pitch, but it's
bro. It's a very tricky time, man. I don't think there's any prize, which is why I'm a big fan of how people reacted, right? Because I think the reaction yakaitwa nevanu yekugara mumba is in recognition. Hindsight is very 2020.
Yeah.
2017, a lot of us went to tanditike mukati tibva kurotondro takananga kustate house and one. But I think a lot of people post 2017 realized kuti yo takaitiswa.
No, but that's the thing. I mean, in all fairness, let's be brutally honest here. If you didn't see that one coming, then I mean, no, that's on you.
In 2017.
Yeah.
No, bro.
No, if you couldn't tell bro, that, then I don't know.
No, even Catriona Lang, the ambassador of Britain at the time, didn't see it coming. Even Catriona Lang was, do you know? Right. So
okay, by
big shout out to Miles Tendi. Got my copy of The Overthrow of Robert Mugabe. I mean, Kuti, the language, first of all, the thing that happened in 2017, it never happened. We had always, as Zimbabweans, we had always had Maku, pa next door, Mozambique, Maputo, and Ngrenandi. And for the first time, this thing is happening right here. And there were a lot of things that were happening that I get why people were caught up in the euphoria. Bro, 2017 things looked like they were headed. Grace Mugabe was coming out every 2 weeks and saying something outlandish. At the time, I think a week before, they just launched this bank, which was very, which people didn't understand. It looked very much like she was on her way to being president. And as chaotic as that, the press conference had been, people were like, even if it hadn't ended up being her as president, the backup options didn't look as good. Did Masmtasa, all these. There was a lot of panic, right? There is something that happens in those moments where people suspend all available information and deal with. There's a lot of recency bias that happened in the moment where we got caught up in the moment of visa. There was not.
You're worried about as long as let's just start.
But then to these people that were on this, they were saying a lot of sweet things, bro. I have to give. They were saying a lot of sweet things. There was a lot of language, which I get people that when people say, "Oh, we should have seen it coming," I don't think it's honest enough. A lot of us got caught. There were people that didn't go to the streets, but a lot of people got caught in the euphoria. Bro, Morgan Trangirai was in the streets.
Prayzah,
Morgan Trangirai was in the, he didn't toy, but his car, he came with his white Range Rover where the Ningirigini end. But I say that to say, Kuti, it's only maybe 6 months in, for most people, that whole post-nat clarity August 1 when people were shot, right? That's when
my 45 degree. Okay, so
that's when people were like, these people might not have been different.
Okay, so when I say that, perhaps let me clarify it by saying I realized the euphoria of it and Chirota Nangrikina, but not to wanna sound like foresight and elevated reasoning. I've often asked myself, to what end?
Yeah.
Because I recognized it for what it was. Because remember there was a time, and we spoke about this before, there was a time when Grace Mugabe was shtum. We didn't even know exactly what the first lady sounds like. We just knew she was a baddie. we'd hear her on the news from time to time. Vavhura college yekusona yevakadzi tailoring or some other, vanity projects type thing, but for the longest time she's always been chkokas, back foot. And when I started seeing her pop up vachidai Nemasas and Chichichi, my intuition was, there's something Chirwita Panapa, and she senses vulnerability, Yaman Avava, what have you, and so you could tell that there's movements. Again, coming back to what we were talking about, this most recent incident, where there's that recognition of beefy when you really start to read between the lines, not beefy but I will admit, once that change happened, there genuinely was an air of optimism. On my part, the optimism that I had was the situation you're coming out of and the situation you're stepping into, not because of the trust and particular faith that I had or whatnot. Again, no dog in this fight. It was from recognizing that Fanvane hope. So you've got the leeway to, you might not even have to do there was a recognition of like, this is a slam dunk. It's a slam dunk. All you have to do is just an incremental, change. People should just look and things should just look and feel like Papa Chinja. There's a lot of goodwill, pane social credit and whatnot. And I was like, this is a slam dunk. And down the line, who's to say? But
I think for most people that were in the diaspora at that time, it's very difficult. The one thing that I can say, Kuti, they didn't have was the context of the mood in the moment of why it was hard. And it's also, I also understand when you say, Kuti, when you have that bird's eye view and you're detached, it gives you an opportunity to consider certain things. Pane zvimwe zvinhu zvinoitika mustadium yebhora zvekuti people wouldn't do on a normal day outside. There's certain words that people say vari mustadium, certain war cries that we sing, like feminists and alike. But I would never be. Do you get what I mean? The euphoria of the moment, bro. You could have been in Gweru. The mood. It felt like the sky. There was a rainbow. It was very, 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 very difficult to not get swept up in that.
Oh no! I'll see it. Even from here,
very similar to the. I think internationally, I would say it was similar to when that Gaddafi statue.
Yeah.
When it fell in the streets and then they were dragging it and then a few days later, that whole thing. I didn't understand because that happened when I was a child. I remember seeing it on the news and being like, I wasn't interested. It was just something that was kept popping up until it was running around my cartoon. But now when I try to juxtapose, that's what it felt like. There was no room to critically analyze anything because the people that you think as antagonists are in the streets. Nema tank, masoja are kissing babies. They are doing wainirwa. They are fist bumping. They are protecting the people. Like for all the marching that happened, there is not a single injury that is recorded on that day. There were almost like hundreds of thousands on the streets. There's not a single injury. I don't know whether that's because there were no injuries or people just chalked it up to the game. They were like, hey, these injuries, I'm not going to blame anyone.
Hey, man, just hoboed. Hey.
Exactly. Do you get what I mean? It felt people were doing speeches. People were like it was the soldiers were saying "Tatora Nika," you know. So I say that to say the reason why it came up is because there's a recognition amongst the people that what happened then and the result of us getting caught up in the affair should never happen again. Unless expressly stated, this is not a battle for the people. I think that's why people stayed at home. Because people are like, wangu. I'm not going to be used to endorse some other person's vanity project. Because a lot of things are going lost in translation. But I remember Geza coming out early on his list of grievances. One of the things that stood out was him being excluded from the feeding trough. This man was, I'm paraphrasing. But vafana vari kudya isusu maovets hatinambobvera tapiwa mukana hatisi kudya but vafana vana mafikizolo havana weekneo vana chichi vakuningira. You know what I mean?
There it is.
You know,
there
his
it is.
real grievance is not having been included within the remaining, you know?
There it is. Boom. There it is.
And
that's your answer.
I think a lot of people see through that.
You know where I think maybe what spoiled my confidence and zeal for Nangarhina. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was on some bullshit. But I did a sketch that was kind of speaking to the types of people during that period when that happened. And one of them was the guy who's like a political analyst who's just looking at things on some, no, but which is where I was kind of leaning on. But where in any pandaga feel like, Trungo, you know, to what end? Is the first insurgents ka Evans Mawari, that this flag, whatnot. For me, that felt like, Panaga something in the air. And post that and the boom photo from then and I think I was a bit open-eyed about it. What's the follow-up though? Because I'm always have the follow-up. It's one thing to get caught up in the hysteria and because again, right? Funny you should bring up Libya and Gaddafi and whatnot. Because I looked at that and it was something that I had kind of followed personally and also followed post that and realized it was type stuff. So
not even Bichana.
You know, and even Chirgana Loki, Iran, na Saddam Hussein, food. Well, vacanz it is way. Sakapana ka trend nega pattern kankari boso ka recognition of things kanda which kinda I guess informed my pessimism, if I should say. But I also did have hopes. And I also did
Bro, Inina, I'm a big fan of talking about Raitika. I hate conversations that are based off hypotheticals or speculation.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm a big fan of this guy, man. I'm a big fan of this guy. This is his second book that I'm reading. The first one is I was trying to look for it earlier. It's this studio is a mess. But it's the Solomon Mujuru, Rex Nongo book.
Yep.
And this one is the overthrow of Robert Mugabe, gender, coups, and diplomats. It tries to give context to what was happening at the time, the things that led to the eventual overthrow of Robert Mugabe, and tries to introduce angles that people might not have, fully considered earlier. And this is a book that is coming out, 6+ years after the fact. Right? Which means good, it's a book that a lot of time and care was taken. You might not necessarily agree with
Yeah. He wasn't rushing to give the scoop. Yeah.
And I wish for, I wish Robert Mugabe had left a book to give context to his life, to his thinking.
Yeah, that would have been a journal of sorts, memoirs or something. That you're so right.
I hope Jonathan Moore leaves a book.
Yep.
I hope Emerson Mnangagwa leaves a book. I hope all the people that are involved, because hindsight, if we are to go anywhere as a country, we need to be informed by the thoughts and decisions of people that came before us.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we'll keep repeating the same things. Anyone, I wish.
And we need to know from the actors.
George Charamba.
What's his mouth? Yep.
George Charamba, I need him to leave a book, because that is a man that has been involved at the highest levels of decision making for over 3 decades, right? He's been intimately involved with. He was one of the few civilians that were involved in the happenings of the 2017 November. He knows firsthand what. So people like that need to leave books. And SB Moyo should have left my memoirs to give context, so that we know.
Yeah, we need your account of things,
reference.
like rounded, and to aggregate to what feels like to read the truth for now.
Bro, even people in ZANU-PF don't even know what's happening, bro.
Exactly, that's so true. They can't afford to.
Latest. So because for all the posturing everything that has come out, there's been so many readings. Stanley Cup, which is the State House, security, which is but everything that we've seen is these guys sitting right next to each other. Sometimes even caught laughing in pictures. It's okay to say,
I just even, bro. Yeah. Brother, even Prophet Madungo isn't on those levels of
that nigga has supper, not just
and that nigga, I don't gotta dinner, bro. I don't gotta I just say what sons and Jesus himself on a daily. What are you saying, bro? And that nigga, I don't know conviction on the teacher. Come on, that should tell you all you need to know. Yeah. No, at the moment, need the Holy Father Jesus Christ.
But yeah, man, that's what else happened? In exciting news, uplifting news, Britain's Got Talent. We have a Zimbabwean who got a golden buzzer. Big shout out, man. Big shout out. Linda Mudzenda got a golden buzzer. I think Alicia Dixon, the lady who gave a golden buzzer. She had what a performance, man. Over the times we've had Zimbabweans pull off blinders on these talent shows. The Voice, Britain's Got Talent, X Factor, from time to time. America, our very own Long Johnson. Takano colonizer my good talent, good what. Even I think in this current Nangargino, the most recent one, there's another Mfanam Zimbabwean rapper. It was on The Voice who did really well. Anatolia killed it on her tenure on The Voice. Yeah. Donnell. She won, and Anatolia. I believe she won. Yeah. If she didn't win, she was a finalist. And then sometimes with these shows, it doesn't even matter. Sometimes you find Nagata number 2 and 3 end up popping than the person who actually won. Yeah. It just all comes down to the grind post it.
what you do with the exposure.
But now, shout out to all the Zimbabweans that are not letting their country's problems define them. Shout out to
We're not looking like our problems.
Shout out to you and your green passport. Show them. Prayzah has an album coming soon titled Ndini Mukudze. He looks like he's going to be on a world tour.
Alfire.
They're my tickets. My tickets I got 150 tickets. Yeah.
Hey, I'm playing. Like, I'm just serious game. 150. What am I doing with my life?
There seems to be a snippet from the album. Let me see. Can I play this one?
What I'm doing? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So where you taking it?
I think he's had all these talks about all these Bafana who are coming out. He's like, because I don't know. There's an interesting conversation that's been happening. I don't know if you've heard about all these guys that are supposedly imitating Ja.
Oh yeah, there's been a couple of Donnies that I heard.
Yeah. So
is it an imitation, do you think? Or
so let's play the songs. This is Bad Troy, Hamzi, and Gandhi Dar.
Chill, y'all. It's split on the beat.
Where I'm going now, Kutanzi. Amana Zigano. Ndini Baba Troy. Ndiwe wakandibira moyo wangu. Ndikakutrasta nezvese zvangu. Hama dzaiziwa ndiwe murora wavo. Ndakavengana neshamwari dzangu. Ndaiti igodo asina nzika. Iri yambiro dzaingova naroga. Ndaiti nindiri jenda asina nzika. Ndazvionera pamunozefodya.
What do you think, Mr. Chirisa? What do you think?
Baba Troy, we're not going around, but so you see, I don't know, man. Personally, as an artist, I can only comment on it in my own artistic capacity, because I think that way it's a fair assessment. In that, if whatever kind of art form I create, ndakaigadzira, and inini objectively, it looks and feels like someone are prominent. And chatode kutora that angle. Personally, as a creative, I always endeavor to do something chiri different.
Right.
You know what I mean? The fact of the matter is there's nothing new under the sun. My styles, they say but you're not about to reinvent a whole new vocal timbre and nangarkini. I recognize that. So at some point, of course, if you sound like someone, you sound like someone. But the task then becomes kuti which you might find in trying to deviate from something, you're actually going to end up unlocking something creatively appealing to not family.
I'm sorry, Murugo accuse. Murugo chia.
And no, I don't know. Because again, because in sympathy for empathy for my artists one. So I don't want to come out gang ho ndichitizvoni ari kukopa. It's one thing kukopa but how vakope nezita. Kopa my answers but usakope ne student ID.
So this is then there's Oriano.
That's what I feel. But I don't want to. Yeah, same argument. I'd put forth again. I want to give these people the benefit of the doubt, and it's such as my inclination.
I honestly don't know enough about music to even have an opinion on this. I just found the discussion interesting.
But I will say they are 100% sound like Prayzah. But like I said, have they intentionally gone out to Nangarkin? I would like to believe they sound like strong enough songwriters, which means they've got some talent to them, and I would like to believe they've got some 100. They're talented guys.
I'm not disputing. I'm just
one.
Yeah, but I think it's also testament to influence, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's testament. So all in all,
imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah, we'll leave it to the BFFs. What do you guys think of these people that are being accused of sounding a lot like Prayzah? What do you also think about the new snippet Yam Koma Ja?
But Command C, Command V in certain places.
Shout out to Oriano. Oriano actually seems to be doing very well in trying to carve out his own lane, doing exciting things within the music genre. He had a very strong performance at the Namas. People seem to be really enjoying the trajectory that he's
I've been hearing his name pop up. Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Chirisa, give us a date. When are you going to be performing next West End?
Right. So believe it or not, we're coming to the end of the contract like a joke thing. Yeah. So my last scheduled performances as Max, there's gonna be more performances, but those are just gonna be on the day type thing. But the last scheduled ones are on the 12th and the 13th of April. So if you're gonna catch it, it's gonna have to be 12th and 13th of April. So it's not this weekend, but the weekend after. You've got ample time.
So it's a weekend.
Yeah, it's a weekend. It's a Saturday and a Sunday.
Yeah, so my people, let's do a thing. Come so 13, let's link up London. Mr. Chirisa as the gang. I think let me see. Also trying to get people who are interested in football, who would be interested in going and supporting Marshall Monetsi, Wolves, number 5, Captain Wema Warriors. I think it would be dope to show up in our numbers and make some noise and support a Kepija. I think it would be a very, very dope thing, supporting our own. So Muswa 13, Domswe Sunday. Sunday. So 13, let's link up. Who's interested? Please send.
There's an afternoon show. There's an evening show.
Yeah, I think evening show allows afternoon show allows us to evening show no Perangwai.
Mperaman 9.
Mperaman 9. So I'm thinking good. Then afternoon show no Perangwai.
No Perangma 5.
5. Yeah, I'm thinking with the afternoon show is so that whoever is coming can do but something afterwards. Vano gonna something afterwards food. So yeah, let's organize. But then I'm definitely
Could be
down.
that.
13th of April to Chimana. Let's do it.
Let's
And
do it.
then
That'll be cool. That'll be cool. If
show up
if 12 works for you, Fuji.
West End Waramba. We'll be there. Zingwa.
Yeah, let's do it.
Top 5 at this week. Top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Top 5 each.
Top 5 Zimbabwe wedding songs.
Oh, my bangers are chat.
My bangers are Top 5 wedding songs.
Right. Like is it a wedding? Can I remember it's now kando?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to go for the low-hanging fruit, but it has to be by, David Chifunyis Murora. That just... I mean, that's a given.
That's a banger.
That's a given.
You're starting soft.
I am starting soft. I'm getting the clear ones out of the way because people nangrini.
Every time I hear the songs,
but what was it about musoro neka elongation ke shaya so kangangori?
Mchato wa Tobias. That's my banger.
Okay, wafugunura, of course. I started off soft. Yeah. Magamirira when you drop. Okay. I might have to take it to Brenda Fassi. It ain't a wedding if they ain't sprinklings. Fair on the ting.
Indovanda die so much. Indovanda die so.
Okay.
Murambinda.
Okay. I see.
Umbovu. Because paneka dance kanozorowa.
Yeah.
Dance kanozorowa. Vanhu vanyazopinda munhingirikini.
Yeah. Because there's our drop so far anima drop. Anima drop.
Ana mamwe masongs ekuti pamuchato hazvina kuti uri musalad kana kuti isusu You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. Pinda
inini because pamuchato ndo vanhu panenge vachinyengana vachaseyoda kuradzana kuti wana dress rangu harisi kunyatsoita
ishinde yangu yarudununga apa guys
dosi yangu mama wangu anozoti chii. You know my My mom used to get offended when I didn't dance at weddings. I remember the last wedding because you know what, like I must have, I think I was like 23, 24. But you know what mothers are like? So, so where this wedding is a cousin's wedding, and I think, I was romped into a conversation that was already happening. And I was tamba kana kuti mira song ipike. Ndakatoona munhu akutomudhuriwa. Because there were other people dancing, and I think she was like, she didn't feel like she had a stake.
Yeah, now come on, man. You, sir, contribute. Mirisika upane wangwe. Ndabeja, bro. Bizarangu.
What does it?
Bizarangu.
So 2-2. Tipe yenyu mdara.
Okay. It's going to be a young Kandombolo type thing.
Extra music. Is it this one?
I think one of those one was going to be you're coming after, but funny.
Is it this one? I feel like
No, there's another one.
Wait, you sing it again? Are you singing Trop Says Trop?
Manje yave atopoluta nangarikini chuni yanda nchinzora musoro mangu.
But it's still an extra musica song, right?
I think it's definitely it's extra music. In fact, I could even just submit catalog extra music because
aiwa vakomana vacho vaigwenya tobva tachikanzura. Ndofaneka pachizvi.
Vanga kajaivi kekuvhura poto chidayo vazoto vakakurungira vakaramakozonzi kwaizopfichukwa
but agausukaziva agausuka
anyway, do they know how much we punish these jams at our weddings and whatnot? Do they really?
I believe they did, because apparently these guys used to do shows early 90s.
Yeah, that's true. They did. And Ayondo's sister and them, they used to come down. It's a no-brainer. If I was a promoter, that's a no-brainer. That's right. That's a no-brainer. That's like bringing an Amapiano artist in this current.
Exactly. Alan Kunku.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yondo's sister. Kanda
Bongo Man. Yeah.
Billy.
Fuck her now.
But now you need to confuse you.
Vairo Amadzin. Dio mapurukutu. akakanowanzoriswa vanhu ma-speech papaita kanga intermission kanguri weird so like pamwe
kana pane hama dziya dzinozvigaira dzichida kuenda kumicrophone dzidiridzirewo dzakouya
vanhu vangokrosa chikafu chapedza kukliwa matebho apedza kukliwa vana turongopukutwa madziwa pamunhu type shit
uri kutotaura madays vana vachiri kubvunzwa kumuchato iwe zvino
please Msayana, how you feel about that one?
Knowing how expensive weddings are, I get it. But it's also it's also a tough conversation to have. I think, knowing how expensive weddings are in this climate where people are being charged per head, it's that whole per head, which means the extra chairs and whatnot, and also knowing how disruptive kids are. They don't care.
Yeah, them niggas they're crackheads, bro.
They absolutely do not. They're going to be running around. So, you're worried about the video, the aesthetics, and what.
Yeah. Run on the dance floor on the first dance type shit and basa.
Kudara vanhu vaingonzi hoyo, vanhu vaichatira mahoyo ekubhawa.
Apinda umo.
Vanhu vaichatira mahoyo, vanhu vaichatira kuchurch, vanhu vaichatira matent. It was my aesthetics people wanted to give.
It must be giving.
It must be giving. So,
I don't want to cave in the wedding planner, but we're sure it's still going to have an aesthetic. Yeah, no, because given when MC mchato chambo iona, brother. Like, and the other thing I was thinking about my jive kumchato nima songs they say, I was like, yeah, you'd know. Yeah. You can't even grow out of kumtambrano kumchato because now it's actually part of your job. Now you're actually gonna have to bust a move kuzimza jaonga kumchato. What kind of MC are you? Are you a stan mchato MC?
So, I think in everything in everything I try to be very much like a benevolent despot. Like I give and take. I give a lot so that when I take it's kind of like so you find kuti before every wedding, I always try to get to weddings very, very early before, so I can acclimatize myself with what's happening. All right, I want to even before, meetings with the bride and groom, like, trying to find out a little bit more about their family, especially the uncomfortable situations. But he's a very important member of the family. You cannot not invite. And I'll usually make or break pamchato, especially with the MCs, because the thing that people don't know about MCing weddings is it's a highly stressful job. I think there's an underestimation of how stressful it is.
Yeah.
Being a wedding MC, there's an understanding that this wedding is a once in a lifetime.
It's a one-shot thing.
It's not a comedy show. If I'll get you next time.
Yeah.
This person are good charter, one and done, possibly. Right? So I am the brand ambassador of that day. I am the face of everything that will go right or wrong.
Yes.
That's where the fine line is. Pandevan vachauya kuti inini ndakuridzwaho Prayzah DJ vari kumuona kwari. But my request you are kwandiri. There is more requests that come to me.
And keke rakadona mukitchen rakasplata nangirikini zvinhu zvodelay on 20 minutes. I'm the one who's going to divulge that kuti or deal with that gap in the program and what have you.
These days there's things that the bride and groom will say kuti, Isusu, we absolutely don't want this, right? I'll give an example. Right now, the most consistent thing you get like bride and groom is like, please make sure that my speech are kept maximum pamun 3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. They always brevity on that.
And I always communicate to them, that's not going to happen.
That's as it.
because the people
wekuchechi anouya obva atanga him yake yekuchechi nefaction ravo rekuchechi vobva wapinda muka 5-10 minute kasession keungorova manhamba ekuchechi vachipururudza chichichi before speech atombotanga. Therein goes budget rako retime.
As a matter of fact, my speech anotoita incremental because munashi akauya akataura zvinhu zviri kunzi vanhu vati zviri deep. The next person wants to outdo the previous person.
Yes.
That's how it works. So what I usually tell bride and groom is, whoever are your people make sure that they are the first people, like your brother, your sister, because those people are the people that we can control. In as an MC,
that's a non-start.
But I always try to encourage good. If you can tell your little sister or your little brother, good, no, I will mention it, good, guys, for my speech up, but no one cares about what I think.
No one cares. It goes.
It's like a traffic light in Zimbabwe. My suggestions are.
I was just suggesting you might want to stop now.
But kana murumanya.
But kana time yenyu isiri kubvumira izvo, just make sure that kuna munhu arwea.
So it's things like that where I don't want to be because I mean, it's not your wedding. I always try to move myself out of the equation. It's not about me. It's not about anyone. It's about the bride and groom. That understanding.
Absolutely.
What do you do?
And then, well, I'm a jovial, jokey kind of guy. But like you said, I've kind of come to the conclusion that just go with the program. Like. I just want to know what the program is saying, and I just need to make sure that I have got a go-to anchor person who is within the organization of the planners. Tell me what's coming up. If you just keep me in tune with that, Rupinda, boom, boom, boom. Sometimes I do have to pull a stern. I guilt trip. I'm a guilt tripper when it comes to behavior management.
Right.
I'm not an authoritarian. I'm guys. Tripamchat vevanu. Got respect the big day. Kana I take it munwesa arbanapa. Honors and sees the gravity of the sanctity of this event and it is in a sense you could say you respect. Oftentimes no one wants to come across as I would disrespect her. Disrespectful and but from time to time when I don't go fight this and then I just kinda that's how I manage behavior. Guilt tripping. Ngoshanza states 90% of people who are logical know how to keep quiet at weddings. I was now fall out of that 90% majority one very logical. So I can't be illogical.
Let me close this top 5, bro, with the greatest, the GOAT wedding song.
I think those are nine chile Tanga. This is the song that I was talking about.
Oh
yes.
Alléluia. Jivondo.
Iwe tambira vaenzi.
And there's always the Donny extra vivacious and I got bambiri. Well, my niggas vanozoilava
because ndopa vanonyenga
vakomana vetu chunu
yeah, man. Let me artist of the week for this week. I have to give it to
who's the spotlight on?
I have to give it to Nisha T, man. I have to give it to
Nisha T.
Nisha T doing amazing things in the music scene. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another. We're going to sign it out with a song from Nisha T. So we say our goodbyes now, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another episode of the one and only Black and
Forth, baby.
Takayenda.
It's a picture. What you do on me? I'm not